Hello, and welcome again to another tutorial. This time it'll be Carl Zeiss Distagon 2.8 25 T star for Contax Yashica, and it has a very stiff focus ring, so I want to re-lube it. Clean the helicoid and lube it again. So let's go on. Okay, this lovely old lens, which actually is in good condition with the optic. It has two issues. The one is the oil on the aperture plates, and the other one is stiff focus. It really has to be it's really tight. So I want to show you how I actually clean and re-lube the focus ring, so the focus helicoids, as we said. Well, we need to take it apart, and one thing we can start with, we can start here or there, doesn't matter, but I'll just start here on the front. Take hold it's not a nameplate, it's part of the, it is a nameplate, but we begin to take out the whole front lens assembly here. So how to do that? There are no notches around here, so we cannot use a normal lens spinner, but we can use a rubber cone, which is part of other rubber cones, like those you can see here, different sizes, and really handy for actually working with lenses. So to unscrew this with this one, it maybe can sit tight. Sometimes not, sometimes yes. So we are there, and then flip it over and holding here and do some movement, and then the whole front lens assembly comes off. So that's it for now. Then you can also see here there are some oil on the aperture plates. It will make another film about that. Now, to take off on the back here, we need to unscrew the actual mount ring here, which is held in place by 3 screws, and it can only sit one way. No problem there. Use a JIS 00. This is a PH 00, which I have filed and grind with a small needle file, so the screw tip actually fits perfect in the screw head, which is cross head, of course. And there, when we have taken off the ring, there will be 4 more screws that need to come out, and a bit of, so look here, set the the aperture to 22, because it will make it a lot easier to take off the ring because of those 2 pins from the aperture system. So therefore you do so. If you by accident set it there, it will be sometimes more difficult. Well, you can, but it will just be more difficult. So set it on 22 aperture, and there it's much easier for you to both take off and put it on again, like this. Now there are 4 screws around here, and they can sit tight if they are tight, the screws. Even if the screwdriver fits perfect, you can use some nail polish remover with acetone, or you can just use acetone. This is just a very handy little bottle to have in my small repair, what do you say, backpack or something. So if there is some thread lock, which there are on some of those Carl Zeiss for Contax, well, you can just use a cotton bud and then add some nail polish remover, and then let it just suck into the screw. You maybe have to use more than you expect, but still have to suck in there, and let it stay for some minutes. Maybe you have to use more. It depends. But in this case, the screws are all fine because I have been into the lens before. Now, so we just unscrew it. It's good the screws are magnetic, so I just what do you say, use a magnet on the screwdriver here, and then it will be magnetized. So that's great. Sometimes it can be annoying to have a magnetic screwdriver, but in this case it's okay. So here we are. Now this is part of the back. It's not the mount, but it's of course part of it. So you just take it out, just lift it off. There's no problem there. Even if the aperture ring is on 22 or 2.8, it doesn't matter. Now, then we are on the in the back of the lens, and then we will unscrew the back lens screw, which can sit pretty tight. Even if I use some of those and put on, and yeah, this one is loose of course, but if not, one can just use a very sticky rubber, and that then have a good grip on the back lens ring, and then unscrew it. And this lens, there was no thread on the on here, so it's not a problem. Now just put that on here. Now the aperture ring has to come off, and by doing so we just doing so, and I mean it can be taken out if you set the aperture over to 22. So I will just do that. I mean, it's not necessary, but it will help you because it will fool around when you work with the lens, when the inner part here is taken out and the helicoid is taken apart. So I will do it anyway. But before doing so, you see, this is adjustable. The two screws can be loosened a bit, and then the aperture ring connected to the pin here, the piece of metal here, which is again is connected to the in here. So I mean, not connected, but there is a pin that slides here. So by doing so before I unscrew those two screws, just set a mark here in the middle where you can. You see, I've set 2 marks here. That's just because so I know where this ring sits correct before I take out this, and also before I take out this small part. There is just some thread lock on the screw head here, so it's not a problem. You can add some nail polish remover here to soften the thread locker. But just unscrew this. Sometimes they use a lot of the thread lock, sometimes not. See, it will come loose now. Just fool around, but just take it out here. So this small pin here slides again this curved, which is connected to the internal part of the aperture system. So when moving the aperture ring, just like this, it will make a curve. So, and now I can actually just take off the aperture ring, but in here, just right behind here, there is a small steel ball that makes the click on the aperture ring here. So this small steel ball, well, here it sits okay, but if you want to take it out, you have to actually press here on the little spring. But if it's not a problem, or you have a strong magnet, you could probably suck it out with that. And this in this lens, it isn't a problem for me, but maybe it's yours. It's different. So now we only need to take out the aperture system in here, which is held in place by a retaining ring, this brass ring with one notch there and there. So we need a lens spanner tool. This is just my own old compass, which I have filed and grind, so the pin fits fine here in the retaining ring, and then just loosen it. It can sit tight, and but it was not a problem in my lens. So and just take it out. Now, then we can just take out the whole aperture system here by put on 2 fingers, or you could use one of those cones to just push it in here, press a little, and then push it out, and then it comes off. You see, the little pin here goes into the notch here, which is the connection from the aperture ring here. So when you move the aperture ring, this one will also move, and again it will move the blades. So that's it. You can just have this put on. There is a guide pin here, which piece of metal that again goes into one of the 2 guide pins that prevent the focus ring from moving around. In this lens it will be the guide pin or the lock pin that would slides a little to make it as a spring. So when moving it, put it in, you can probably see how it should. You have the piece of metal here, and you have the notch where it goes into. So it will be something like that. It can be a little tricky, but then you do so, and so it is. So it does not have to be pulled out directly out. It has to be what do you say, push it on one side, and then you will probably get it out like this. So, and here we are. Now back to the focus system here. Take care of when you go from near end to infinity, because this pin in here has to be pushed as long as it can over here, and then you can move the focus ring. And if you do not do it, you will see what happens. Click 3, and then if you try to put it on infinity, you will press on this bar here, the gray bar. So if I push on it, you will see what's happened. You cannot push it all the way in, so therefore, see, so push it all the way over there, and then you can just set it to infinity. So that's actually the focus helicoids focus system. Now before I take it apart, I want to show how long is it actually when it's set to infinity. It's a good thing to do before unscrew it. This lens is something like 55 when it's set on infinity, and it will be something like there, so it's good to know before you take it apart. Now we need to take off the rubber, which I will just do with a dentist tool, which is very handy. They are not very expensive, but but it will be a good tool in many cases. So just dig under the rubber ring here, lift it up a little, and then you are almost off. That's it. Now, there is a tricky part here before you can get things off. There is a tiny little pin right there. I mean, right there. And you need to take that out before you actually can get deeper into the helicoids. So I will just lift it a little, just a little. So you do so, and take care of it. It's really, really tiny. And I had a tweezer. See, this is tricky. Put it away. And now it's possible to slide this ring out. That's it. And then, now we have to make some marks around here. Especially on those guide pins here and there. There's no service manual on this lens. Well, I haven't found any. So I have to make my mark where those parts have to sit. So I set a 1 here, and I set 1, I mean, make a small 1 up here, and of course on this pin, so I know where things sit. And of course on the other one too. So this one I call 1, and the other I call 2, because there's a split here, a gap here. So it makes 2, of course. Well, to take it apart, we actually, let's say, take out this helicoid first, because if not, you cannot come into the next one. So therefore, set it to near end. I have this small pin sit here, and just unscrew those two. They can only sit in one position because of the way they make it. But of course you can exchange those two. So then we will start with the number 1. There could be some thread lock on here, which there are, but it's not really that tight, even when I got into the lens. So and then just take the part out. If you see the way they make it, it can only be faced one. You cannot set it that way to put it in. It has to sit like this. Okay. And the next one. And the screws here are countersunk. And then also take that out. By pushing on the pin here, you can just move this. No, you cannot. Oh, it's not necessary. So this pin comes out, and then the helicoid is actually free. So take care of what you actually move. Now, it's necessary to set a mark here where the number 1 guide pin was. So I set up 1 here and keep those 2 rings. It will be the focus ring and the back of the lens focus system. So now it's possible to move this, I would say, inner helicoid, and in this case it will need 3/4 turn to off, and when it comes off I set a mark. So we begin here with this guide pin here, and then I move it, and so look after 3/4, and it will be something like that. I know it, of course, because I've been into the lens before. So when this helicoid gets off, it will be something like there. I set a mark here. And it goes in line with the other mark here. So I know exactly where it goes. And it's really, really, really dirty, as you can see. And also the focus ring in here is really dirty. So, and then this is actually the inner helicoid. Now, to get this apart, I also need to unscrew 3 screws here. Before doing so, I set a mark over here, inside here, and it's in line with the, almost in line with the infinity mark, but it's also because it will be in line with the stop at near end. So I set a mark here, in here, and I set a mark here, and of course when I unscrew those 3 screws here, the ring here will be loose, and it makes the stop, not the helicoid here. So get a good grip here, and it has to go all the way to near end will be my actually distance meter here, and it will be on 0.25 meter. Now get a good grip on it and unscrew those 3 screws. Oh, come on. So, and then something like that. And then my mark here is where the actual stop pin is on the focus ring. You probably can see it here, right there. And this stop will go against here. So of course I set a mark here, and just in case of I missed something, I also set a mark here. So the two mark has to be in line. Now let's measure this part and see how long it is before I take it off. It's something like 23.75 or so. And so it is, and so it should be when you assemble the helicoid again. Now this ring has to be unscrewed counterclockwise around, almost 6 turns. I set a mark here where this ring goes off, so you can see it's really close to the beginning of my starting point. So this mark here will go one, difficult to see, and there will be 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6. It actually come off here. So it would be something like that. I know it's difficult to see, but this will be my off point here. So set a mark there where this helicoid comes off, and then it's open. So now I'll just make some cleaning of those helicoid and be back again. And now I have cleaned the helicoids, and now it's time to re-lube. And for doing that, I will use this grade 10, as you can see here, from japanhobbytool.com, and you will probably be sent to something Amazon, and where you can buy it, or maybe eBay. It's really a really great grease for helicoids. As you can see, it looks like something, maybe it's difficult to see, but it's just white. So and I use a fine brush to just add a little. So let's go ahead, and as you maybe can see, the helicoids looks like something, well, no one should think they are something like, I don't know how many years it is, maybe from the 70 or 60, I don't know yet. But it's okay. So let's lube. And I also took the aperture ring and the depth fill ring, and then clean those. So they are, it looks pretty okay, as you can see. Looks like new, almost. Now, then it's time to do some serious lubing. I will begin with the back and just add a little. And the focus ring, I mean the helicoids ring, will do the rest to spread the lube around. Something like, and I really want this lens to run as smooth as possible, and if I can use one finger to just focus with it, it will be fine. Now let's see how it will go. I have a mark here. I have a off point here, which will be the point where I put the inner helicoid ring on, and let us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And this one is smooth and perfect. So it will be fine. So that's my point, where when I assemble it again, the 2 points here will be when I put the inner helicoid on. So I'll just add some. It doesn't need that much on the on this. I mean, all the threads here has to have some grease, but not too much. And then you can just spread it with something like that here. That will be all for now. And then I have my my point, where it is here, and I have my number here where I set my mark here, and this one with a small mark here, it has to go on there. So it just has to say something click, but not yet. First, this ring has to come, I mean the focus ring itself has to come on. And I actually have a mark here, there, and there is a mark here. So I just want to have the pin, the small pin here, that goes into here, the stop. So when I put it on, it will just be something like that, and it cannot go any further. So what I will do, I will just let the lock ring here fall into place. And then I will add one screw to just be sure it's in place. Something like that, and so, and there will be one over here. And why I just keep 2 fingers on here, because if it just is in one screw, it can still fall off here, because it's just a ring. That what locks the ring to the helicoid here is the ring all around here, which is holding in place by 3 screws. So therefore, and then the last screw. If you want to actually get adjust this to for example put a a mount for example Nikon or Canon or so, then you have to adjust the infinity, and then this helicoid has to go closer to the camera, and there is space enough so you actually can do it. And I would like to try it. So I think there will be more films about this lens. So now this is really good. See, I couldn't do that before. So set it to 0.25, and this is the actual distance mark where this ring sits in place here, as you can see. Now the most inner helicoid will go on. So I just set this to 0.25, and then my mark, where did it go? Here. I set a small mark there, and it will be my actually point where the helicoid will go on, the most inner. And it can sometimes be a little tricky, but it is there. And give it some movement. Wow, it will really be good. And this ring will only, when it come off the thread like there, it only need to go 3/4 turn until it sits correct. So when the focus ring is set to something 0.25 at near end. Remember, I have a mark here. I have a mark here on the inner helicoid. So that those will go into place there, and just if I can, yes, go there. And of course, in the beginning I put a mark on where I set 1, and of course it has to be 1 here too. So the only thing I need is to put my guide pin in, and then the focus system is in place. So this part has to sit there, and I need a screw. One could use some thread lock, like this one, and yeah, I could just use a piece of paper here and then add just a little. It's the softest. It's pink. No, not pink. It's purple. And it doesn't need very much. It costs a fortune, but it's great. It's really good. Then add a little, and then unscrew this part there. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Just do it again. And then add the screw in here. Just not fully tighten it, because the other screw also has to go in. Tiny drop, and then I will add the screw, and then gently tighten it. So, and now it's actually not yet, because it needs the other pin over here, and maybe I had to make some small adjustment after that to be sure it sits correct. So this pin goes into here, something like that, and it has to fit there. Then some small amount of thread lock, and then tighten gently. Of course with the other one too. And there. Now let's see how it looks. This pin is a bit annoying to me. Wow, this is really good. I mean, really good. Oh, wow. It works so much better. So, yeah. Then I could just, there's no need for gloves anymore. I will just add a little on the aperture ring for the small steel ball here. There's no need for doing too much. And I could just add a little around here. So it will be enough. And then add this ring. My small point is here where the tiny pin will sit, and then I just put it in there, and this amazingly small pin will also sit on. Oh, it moves. Be something like there. And then it fits there. And it actually is locked in place by the aperture ring itself. So we know where it goes. But right now it cannot fall out. It will just sit there. Now it's time to what to do. Yeah, put in the aperture assembly, which I have here. This pin, this piece of metal, I don't know the name, and the actual connection to the pin here, and yeah, just put it in. If one push on it, it will be easier to put it in, as you can see, just a little. Something like that, and then you catch it, hopefully. So, there it is. And we can move the blades. Now, flip it over, and then take out those cones. Okay. Good grip here, and then take out those cones. I also have made a mark in here, just in case of things went wrong. But this ring, the retaining ring, be put in here, and I just used my lens spinner, then go a little backward so it says click, and then screw it in, and then tighten it. That's it. Now my focus system is really working really great. So what to do next? Yeah, I would like to add the rubbering so I know where it is. Oh yeah. So, wow, great. Now, and then what to do now? Yeah, I will put in the aperture ring itself. Remember, if you don't have the steel bolt at the moment, you will probably go and find it. So, oh, it has a much better click because of cleaning things. And just set it to near end because it will make it easier to put in this part here. And then put it to 2.8. then add a tiny amount of thread lock, and as you probably remember, I put a mark on this part here, so I know exactly where it will sit. Just put in the screws and tighten them, not just a little. And then the next screw. So it has to sit in the middle. In this case, it could be different in your lens. Tighten it gently. So, oh, I should have put in the, I mean, it's easier to put in the aperture assembly when you have taken out the back lens. So just do so. There was some dust in here. So yeah. So, and then just tighten it with a rubber cone. So it is. And then the back here will come on. And just something like that. The red dot will be, if you see here, you have your distance mark here and it will go over here. Of course, it can only sit in one way. So there's no problem in that. Just get the position of the screw holes. Then add some, it was not the right hole. Okay, do it again. There. You can see the holes down there, and then so something like that over here. I will not use too much thread lock because I have to go into the lens again, but just to tell you how you can use it. So it's almost like a new lens, fresh lube. Now to put this on, set the aperture to something 22. It will be easier to just put it on here. And in this case I will not use thread lock on the 3 back screws. And so we are almost there. Now the front lens group, it's possible then, I mean in this case I took the whole lens assembly out, but maybe in other cases the front ring will come off first. And there are actually 2 notches here, one there and there. So if your front ring nameplate comes off first, you just need a lens spinner to use the 2 notches here and unscrew the actual lens assembly. And it seems that they have used some thread lock around here. It looks blue or green or something. So, but so it's just to put the things back in again. Ready to go. This one, then flip it over, and then move it to find the thread. Should say something like click. Not yet. Here. And then just screw it in. And this fine old lens is actually back on track with a much better focus system. That's yeah, that was actually all for now. There will be more about this lens next time. It'll be the aperture system with oil on the blades. So bye bye.